All right, let's talk about something a little unsettling, but super important. It's called the silent collapse. We're going to dive into what that actually means and the 5 things you really need to get out of your life before it's too late.
Just let that sink in for a minute. We all worry about some huge, life-altering mistake, right? But that's not usually what does the real damage. No, the real danger, it's quiet. It's this slow erosion, built from all the tiny little things we tell ourselves aren't a big deal. The things we just ignore, day in and day out, until suddenly, everything falls apart.
And hey, this isn't just some dramatic phrase. It's a real thing. Psychologists actually call it the silent collapse. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's this process where the very foundations of your life, your mental health, your relationships, your job, they don't just blow up one day. Instead, they slowly, quietly crumble under the weight of all these little problems we never deal with.
Okay, so where does a thing like that even begin? Well, the very first thing we have to get a handle on are the energy drainers. Think of these as the outside forces that are just sucking the life out of you, often without you even noticing.
So how does that even work? It's all thanks to our brains. See, we're literally wired to mirror the people around us. It's great when you're building friendships, right? But there's a huge downside. It means we soak up the emotions of the people we hang out with the most. So if you're surrounded by negativity all the time, well, you can probably guess what your own default mood is going to become.
And this is the perfect breakdown of that chain reaction. First, there's just exposure. You're just around it. The constant complaining, the pessimism. Then step 2, your brain starts to mirror it, to match that vibe. And before you even know it's happening, bam, you hit stage 3, drain. Suddenly your focus is gone, your energy is tanked, and your ability to just think, it's all just wiped out.
All right, so we've pointed out the problem. Now what do we do about it? How do we fix this? That leads us right into our next section, reclaiming your energy. And it's all about getting rid of that mental clutter.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's a total before and after. In the before state, with all that mental clutter from the energy drainers, you're stuck in that negative mirroring loop. Your focus is completely shot, and your working memory, which is kind of like your brain's RAM, is just overloaded. But once you remove those things, everything changes. You get your emotional control back, your focus snaps back into place, and that all-important working memory comes back online. It's like you're getting your own brain power back on your side.
So, getting rid of those outside drains, that's a huge first step. But it's only half the battle. The really deep, important work, that happens when we look inward. If you really want to stop a collapse in its tracks, you have to face the stuff you've been avoiding inside yourself. And this right here is the absolute key. Any emotional pain that we try to ignore, well, it doesn't actually disappear. It just hides in the shadows, pulling the strings, influencing our decisions, and controlling our reactions. It's like a silent puppeteer. The moment you turn around, look it in the eye, and just acknowledge it's there, you cut the strings. You take away its power to run your life from behind the scenes.
But why does that work so well? It's pretty simple, actually. It's all about validation. That just means treating your own feelings like they're real and legitimate. Instead of saying, I shouldn't feel this way, you just acknowledge it. And a few incredible things happen. First, it connects you to what's actually going on. Second, you finally break that exhausting cycle of constantly running away from your own feelings. And maybe most importantly, every single time you do this, you're building trust in yourself. You're proving to yourself that you can handle it. And that is what gives you the power to actually move on.
Okay, we've talked about the stuff on the outside and the work we need to do on the inside. But none of that matters without this next part, taking action, turning all this knowledge into something real. And it all boils down to that very first step.
So I want you to ask yourself this right now. What's the one tiny thing you're going to remove first? I'm not talking about some huge life overhaul, just one small thing. Maybe it's deciding you're only going to talk to that negative coworker for 5 minutes instead of 20. Or maybe it's just quietly admitting to yourself, yeah, I'm feeling really anxious about this. Remember, the silent collapse is built on tiny, ignored problems. So it makes perfect sense that the solution starts with one tiny, deliberate action.
And really, that's the bottom line here. The entire reason to even know about the silent collapse is so you can act before it gets bad. The warning signs are whispers, not shouts. The process is a slow burn, not a big explosion. And that's exactly why you have to start paying attention now. Please don't wait for the big crisis to hit. Start with that one tiny thing today.